So next up we have Kelton, and this will be a swing analysis by Tony Brooks. And Tony Brooks has a YouTube website called Lion Golf Academy, and you can actually get a free swing analysis of your golf swing by sending your front and down the line regular speed videos to info at liongolfacademy.com. And on most Sunday nights, Tony does free golf swing analysis of amateurs just like yourself. So again, here's the website, info at liongolfacademy.com. Be sure to tell him when you email him your videos what you're interested in. And here's Tony.
Send me your video. I'll help you out. All right. Next up, we have Stephen's wife's brother. So I assume that's your brother-in-law. Is that correct? Let's take a look. And he's 69 with Like a Red Light Live analysis. Okay. So again, nothing. Kelton, here we go. Kelton is my wife's brother. Very vertical backswing. He is unable to have a flatter backswing. Now, is he unable because he's physically incapable, or is he unable because it's so neurologically ingrained that he can't make those adjustments? So that's a question I would have. But yeah, we can definitely see restriction of hip turn until later. So he's probably going to be a little steeper as a result. And he tries to reroute that by getting the shaft to kind of flatten out a little bit. Doesn't quite get there. And it looks like he hit both of these towards the toe. And I think he bladed the first one. But you can see right at impact, if I'm not mistaken here. Let's go back. Maybe not. Okay, let me organize these. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go. Down to impact. That's close enough for government work. Down to impact. One more frame. Nope. Let's go right there. Let's back this one up one more frame. Let's go right there. Okay. Let's go down to impact. Let's take a look real quick what happens at impact. Okay, so we got a forward shaft lean with a driver, which is not ideal, specifically with that ball position slightly favoring the right side with a lot of shoulder tilt. So I do see some hand manipulation needed. Physically incapable. Okay. All right. So for those that are wondering, what we're talking about here is the steepness of his plane. The setup looks pretty good. There's the spine angle. And there's arch of the heel. So yeah, it's a pretty nice setup. Okay, so I'm assuming, Stephen, this is what he's incapable of, that first move more with the hips. I don't know if he's got some hip issues, but he does look like he attempts a hip turn here, right there. So I can see that it's pretty tight. I mean, that left knee's buckling in, left foot's coming up, which could help him get some turn. So I do see some tightness. He gets that secondary plane line pretty decently. Club is very vertical, and he will try and probably loop this back around with his wrists and his elbow right there. So he does a decent job. Yeah, so we can see right here, it's slightly steep, but that momentum of the club is going to keep falling down. So he gets it on plane. We do see a lot of, standing up at impact, and this could be, again, that physical limitation. And then we just hold on for dear life and see what happens. So if you're physically incapable of doing this, there's ways you can cheat the system to help you get hip turn. And that is pre-setting your hips at the start of your swing. But you have to know your total range of motion to do this. So, Stephen, if I were you, I'd have him, or if he's watching this, I would have him measure his total range of motion in terms of moving his hips back and moving it forward. As far as he can go back and as far as he can go forward. Let's say he's only capable of 10 degrees turn on the way back. That's just his body says enough. And then he gets 40 degrees all the way through as much as he can. Then you got 50 degrees of motion. Now, how do we utilize that 50 degrees of motion to not give him a steep plane? So we know we're suffering from hip turn on the way back. Maybe we set up closed with his hips closed, 20 degrees. So at the top of his swing with his 10-degree turn, he's now 30 degrees closed, which will get him deeper. But then you have to think about, okay, well, at impact, how's it going to affect it? But there's ways you can play with your total range of motion. And as you age, you typically see people closing their hips down to start the swing, because if you can't turn your hips deep enough, your hands are going to be very out in front. And that's where big, huge banana balls can come in, and maybe the dead pulls with the short irons, because it's all plane worth and path and club face at that point. So you might want to check the total range of motion, mess with his ratios a little bit to see if that works. The setup on the left side looks really good. It looks really athletic. Right side as well. Let's take a look at the setup real quick. Right side, if anything, I think this might actually help him out a little bit too, is maybe just move that ball position, 2 golf balls over. That way doesn't start with that forward press with the driver, because anytime you got this forward press with the driver, now that club's going to want to work its way down. So you have to figure out how to manipulate that. Usually we throw the hands, or we have to tilt to do that. And, being physically incapable of doing it, just level. So that club will be out more over here. So it's going to match more the shoulder tilting. The club path will want to escape higher. The hand path, everything will want to work higher. That could definitely help him out. It might give him an extra frame at impact, so he doesn't have to throw as much. So give that a try, Stephen. I know it's hard when you talk about limited range of motions with students without actually being able to test them. If I could test his motion and see if he's actually as limited as he thinks he is. But I'm going to take your word for it. So let me know how that goes, Steve. If you need help, let me know. Also send them my way if they want to ask a question in the comments. Hope that helps you. All right, next up. Where'd my mouse go?
So thanks to Tony Brooks for that swing analysis. And you can get your swing analyzed by Tony Brooks as well.